An illegal migrant that had been deported twice before is now facing charges after allegedly stabbing a man on the Charlotte light rail system. It's the exact same rail where police say a career criminal stabbed a Ukrainian refugee to death back in August.
Chanley Painter joins us now with those details. Chanley? Hey, good morning. So police say the suspect allegedly broke into a railroad car while intoxicated before stabbing the victim. 33-year-old Oscar Soloranzo of Honduras was arrested and will be in court tomorrow. DHS confirming the suspect is a twice deported illegal migrant with a lengthy criminal history in the United States. He was deported by the Trump administration in 2018 and re-entered illegally during the Biden administration in 2021. Then he was deported a second time by the Biden administration and then re-entered illegally again.
There is a problem with our system. There is a problem with our system. We got to admit it. Deported in 2018, re-entered during Biden administration. He re-entered the U.S. at an unknown time and location, but no one cared because why? We know why. We don't need to say it anymore. But then he was deported. Oh, hold on. So he re-entered during Biden administration. Then he was deported again. And he re-entered at an unknown time. Prior convictions for robbery, arrest, for aggravated battery resisting. So the exact person you wouldn't want in our country.
He also has a prior conviction for robbery in the U.S. and prior arrest for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, resisting arrest, and false ID. He is now charged with attempted murder for the stabbing, among many other charges, after allegedly breaking into that light rail train while intoxicated, while carrying a large fixed-blade knife, where he then challenged the victim to fight before attacking him with that knife. This stabbing attack is all happening on the same rail line where 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska was stabbed to death just months ago by a suspected career criminal. Well, President Donald Trump reacted on Truth Social saying this, quote, "Another stabbing by an illegal migrant in Charlotte, North Carolina. What's going on in Charlotte? Democrats are destroying it like everything else, piece by piece." Officials say the stabbing victim remains in the hospital and is being treated for very serious injuries, guys.
All right, Chanley, thank you very much. Great. North Carolina GOP Congressman Mark Harris joining us now. Congressman, thank you for taking time. Your reaction to this. Here we have yet a second attack, this time by an illegal alien that should have never been here.
It's just really unbelievable that we would find ourselves back here again just a couple of months after we went through the situation with Irina Zarutska. And it really is. It's something that grabs our attention and causes us to realize that something has got to be done, and enough is enough. And I think that's really where we find ourselves, especially when you see the backstory to this. Of course, in Irina, we've had the backstory of a person that had been arrested 14 previous times and was walking the streets and able to pull off that crime. And here we find an individual, an illegal alien, that has been deported not once, but twice and arrested here in our country. And yet, still, we find our Democrat politicians that are complaining about our law enforcement, like Border Patrol and ICE, who are here to do their jobs. And it's just preposterous. And I'm grateful that there was a good Samaritan that was present in this situation to stand up and really fight. And I'm very grateful for him.
And you make an interesting point, Congressman, because Charlotte's mayor, V. Lyles, who has opposed the ICE crackdown in that city, put out a statement about this where she says there are several aspects of public safety that are outside of the city's jurisdiction, including immigration policy and enforcement, but we will continue to focus on public safety and ensuring a safe and vibrant community.
Hold on. So you was against the ICE coming into the city and all that stuff. But then you say it's outside of our jurisdiction. So it's not the city. Basically, she's saying it's not the city's fault that they're in this predicament as it is, or someone almost lost their life. It's a crazy world.
This comes, as we know, this alleged illegal alien that stabbed this good citizen that was standing up trying to stop chaos from erupting on that light rail train, had been convicted of burglary in the U.S., had prior arrests for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and yet he was a gotaway. He came back a third time into the country from Honduras and was one of the more than 2 million gotaways that are in this country, and yet she doesn't seem to want to support going after him.
Well, that's a real problem. I mean, I think that's one reason that these illegal aliens flock to places like Charlotte, because they have an idea that they're going to be soft on crime. They have an idea that they're going to somehow be protected. And it seems to be a really bad message when we're more concerned about the illegal aliens that are here than we are about our citizens that are becoming victims of these violent crimes. And it is a tragedy, and it's something that needs to be called out. And I'm very grateful for Operation Charlotte's Web that took place here. And I think it's important. Listen, we called for the National Guard. We reached out to the governor because our Fraternal Order of Police in Charlotte had pointed out that we had a very strong lack of the number of policemen we needed. We were about 300 policemen short for being able to adequately work there in the city. And we've seen an uptick in crime in Uptown. And so we went to the governor asking that the National Guard, we've seen success in Memphis, we've seen success in Washington, D.C., and we thought it would be important for the National Guard to be a short-term fix while we began to get things together. But again, we have been pushed back. Our Democrat governor, our Democrat mayor, they've not been willing to step up and say, this is what we need.
Well, and Congressman, President Trump took to Truth Social, outraged about this, saying another stabbing by an illegal migrant in Charlotte, North Carolina. What's going on in Charlotte? Democrats are destroying it like everything else, piece by piece. Final question in the time we've got left. Is your governor going to get on board?
Well, he hasn't shown any sign of being willing to get on board, which is unfortunate. And of course, it was after our call for the National Guard to come that we did see Operation Charlotte's Web. Border Patrol had more than 425 arrests so far, and they tell us they're not finished here. They're still working in Charlotte, and we're very grateful that they're here as our law enforcement.
Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next video.
So today, an illegal migrant with a long rap should facing a judge for a brutal stabbing on a Charlotte train. And we're learning he was deported twice. Border Czar Tom Holman says it could have all been avoided.
These are more than 2 million people who crossed the border under Joe Biden and got away. They weren't fingerprinted. They weren't vetted. They paid more to get away. They didn't just turn themselves in the Border Patrol, get a free airline ticket to a city and get a free hotel room and free medical care. They paid more to get away. And why is that? Because they didn't want to be fingerprinted. They didn't want to be invited because they're gang members. They're criminal aliens.
Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett joins us now. Greg, when you look at this rap sheet, I mean, it's just pretty telling. Deported twice, assault with a deadly weapon, attempted first-degree murder, breaking and entering a motor vehicle. I mean, this is not the best when it comes to an immigrant story of someone wanting to contribute to society, right?
You're right, Lawrence. I mean, this guy's long criminal history should never have been allowed in the U.S., but Joe Biden's open border policy enabled him to slip right back in. You know, this is a broken record of violence and murder that, millions of people who've become innocent victims can attest to. So, it's really hard to believe that any responsible person would ever object to deporting criminal, illegal aliens. And yet, Charlotte still clings to its sanctuary agenda. Its liberal mayor and local officials vigorously opposed President Trump's efforts to send federal troops to Charlotte to deport criminal aliens who threaten public safety frequently. And once again, we see the inevitable result, the second vicious attack in just 4 months on Charlotte's light rail, supposed to be a safe place. The last victim was savagely murdered. It won't end until law enforcement, steps in.
Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. We're not going to watch that whole video. Let's get over into an article because he did appear in court today. He did appear in court. So let's get over into this. So the man accused of violently stabbing on a Charlotte light rail last week made his first appearance in court on Monday and was denied bond. Good. He's an illegal criminal, illegal immigrant. If they would have gave him bond, I would I don't. I would have been very confused. Very confused. So Oscar is charged with attempted first-degree murder, assault with a deadly weapon, inflicting serious injury, breaking and entering of a motor vehicle, carrying a concealed weapon, and intoxicated and destructive in connection with a December 5th attack. The incident happened less than 4 months after the killing of Arena on the Blue Line. So his first appearance was brief. He faced a judge by video using a Spanish translator. They can never speak English. The prosecution says that he shouldn't have been on the train at all because he was already banned from the light rail prior to the attack. So the Department of Homeland Security announced that the U.S. Immigration ICE lodged an arrest detainer for him, who is from Honduras and was in the country illegally. DHS said that his criminal history includes arrest for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, destroying evidence, resisting arrest using a false ID, and conviction for robbery and illegal reentry. The agency said that he was removed from the country back in March 2018. He was arrested while crossing the border in 2021 and was again removed. According to DHS, it is unclear when he re-entered the country a third time. So prosecutors say that he was drinking alcohol and yelling at passengers when another person told him to stop. They allege he drank more and confronted the man. So the man who told him to stop, he confronted him. Refusing to leave him alone, prosecutors said the passenger, fearing for his safety, pushed him back. That's when he grabbed a knife, stabbed that man in the chest before running away. The rider, identified as 24-year-old Keon Doby, I'm sorry if I say that name wrong, was taken to a hospital with serious injuries. He was later arrested shortly after the incident. The Chevron, why do you say his name? Is Carlos. I think that's his first name. Is it Carlos? I'm just saying some random names on it. Oscar, see? Oscar. I'm sorry about that. Oscar was arrested shortly after the incident. Detectives say that he admitted to drinking and stabbing the victim. So he said that the victim is hospitalized, described in a TikTok live stream why he intervened. What I'm not going to allow is for you to attack random people for no reason, especially the elderly. How could he or she defend themselves? So he said that he confronted him directly. After a brief exchange of words, he pulled out a knife and was stabbed in the chest. I got a lot of blood in my lungs, and they are trying to drain it out. He said in a video shortly after the attack, it wasn't God's time for me to die. I appreciate that. I'm really in a lot of pain. The states request no bond and approval of an electric ankle monitor if he is released at any time. The judge approved he was not given a bond. If he is ever granted release from local custody, ICE intends to take him to federal custody. Good. His next court appearance is set for December 30th. Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. Crazy situation. All right, everybody, remember this is AC Reviews the Word. Remember to like and subscribe.